We're going to challenge you today. We're going to hopefully make it interesting for you. I'm going to scare you. I'm going to show you things that are going to upset you, and that is why I am here. This is one of my favorite days all year, because this is the day that I come and speak to Tarheel Girl State. And listen to me, ladies. I've been coming this day every year for 22 years. I have driven from every corner of the state to be here on this day. I was doing this before any of you were born. And why do I do this? Because this is important to me. You are important to me, and I want this to be a great experience for you, so I'm glad you're here. Okay, what we're going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit who I am, a little differently than our kind gal who did my introduction. When I was in my 20s, I guess, kind of, or early 30s, when I got first asked to make this speech, and that was because I was serving as an assistant district attorney, meaning that I was prosecuting criminal cases for the state of North Carolina in Rowan and Cabarrus counties. Do we have anybody from Rowan County here? Very good, excellent. How about Cabarrus County? Anybody from Cabarrus County? Okay, so those are the two counties in which I was the first woman prosecutor. And that was in 1985. So yes, there has been in the not too distant past where women were not lawyers who were doing trial work, but that's what I do. I now represent injured people in different kinds of contexts, but the way I started out my legal career was prosecuting criminal cases, everything from an expired inspection sticker to a murder charge, and about anything in between. It was one of the best jobs I've ever had in my whole life. Because what I could do is I could work for fairness and justice for the state at that time. I could do what was right, and it was just a lot of fun. On a typical day in court in Concord or Kannapolis or Salisbury, I would have 200 cases that I would prosecute. It's something that taught me how to juggle lots and lots and lots of balls at one time. So I want to talk to you just a little bit and tell you a couple of funny things that happened to me when I was in the DA's office. A lot of times on Friday there wasn't a whole lot of court going on, and so I would help the secretary answer the phone. And one day I was answering the phone, and I picked up the phone and said, "District Attorney's Office." And the voice on the other end of the line said, "May I speak to the prostituting attorney?" I was afraid to say, "This is she." You know, I mean, those kinds of things will happen occasionally. And then there was a police officer, I had him testifying in a drunk driving case, and he was talking about why it was he got the attention of the vehicle, why the vehicle called his attention to it, and he said it's because it was weaving erotically down the road. Now, you know, there are a lot of people who don't like lawyers, and they'll think that lawyers are bad people. Well, I'm here to say that's what I am. And I am proud to be a lawyer, and I hope that I will challenge some of you to think about law as a profession, or even if you don't practice law, that there's value in having a law degree if you go into business, because it puts you at a competitive advantage in business transactions, for example. So let's talk really quickly about the levels of court in North Carolina so you guys know how it's sort of set up. So in North Carolina, there are these different levels in court. Magistrate's court, which is for really tiny claims. District court. All right, let's get some confessions here. Does anybody have a friend that's ever gotten a speeding ticket? Raise your hand. Okay. If your friend got a speeding ticket, your friend had to go to district court. Okay? Now, does anybody know anybody who's ever had parents who were separated from each other, divorced? Raise your hand. If you know somebody like that and there's a child support order or those people are getting a divorce, that occurs in district court. Now, if people are charged with more serious crimes, or if there's a lot of money involved in a claim one to the other, those folks are in superior court. And those courts are in every county in the state, those magistrate, district, and superior court. And then at the very top of the food chain, there is the Court of Appeals, which sits in Raleigh, and then the North Carolina Supreme Court after that. So there is a district court system in North Carolina that handles the vast majority of everything that's hopefully going to ever come across y'all's plates. If you're in Superior Court or those other places, you don't want to necessarily be there. That may mean somebody's in a lot of trouble. Now, at the same time, that's in state court. There's also federal court going on. You guys have probably heard about the United States Supreme Court, right? Well, you know the United States Supreme Court has levels under it as well. That's also set up this way so that you have the Supreme Court and the Fourth Circuit, and then you also have 23 trial judges that sit across the state. In the time that I have been in North Carolina in making this speech for 22 years, there were 0 women federal trial judges in the state of North Carolina. Now there are only 2. So in all those years, there's not necessarily been a lot of progress. Now I want to tell you a little bit more about some of the cases that were in district court when I was prosecuting cases when I was about 10 years older than you, actually in some instances 7 or 8 years older than you. One of the cases that really bothered me was the Freddie Berthes case. There were other things that had happened that shocked me. I was from Kannapolis. I was from a small town. I really didn't see a whole lot of, let's hear it for Kannapolis. I didn't see a whole lot of bad things that went on. But when I was prosecuting cases, I saw things like a 9-year-old girl who was raped by her stepfather. I saw a young boy at about 12 whose father's sexual activity with him caused him to get gonorrhea of the throat. I saw a woman whose boyfriend broke her back when she was 9 months pregnant, who would not testify against him because he said if she did, that he would kidnap and murder her 2 small children one by one. That's real life in court in North Carolina. Now,